All right. Well, thanks for circling back here, and we're going to have what is usually a very interesting and fast-paced discussion coming up next. This is our mini update session, and it's something where there is a lot of information shared rapidly. So what we will do is we're going to go and pass the microphone around the room, and if you are a program lead, leading the project, etc., you are welcome to give a short update about what's happening. If there's anything new, any reports out, any new projects you're starting, any just updates in general. Keep it brief, under 2 minutes if you can. If you are not a project lead, please take that moment, an opportunity to not just pass the mic, but to introduce yourself and then pass the mic. So we didn't start with a round of introductions, but this is always a good time to do it. So thanks again. Hope you guys had a good lunch, and we are going to get started. We'll pass the mic around the room, and then we will go to Zoom. And if you have an update on Zoom, we'll do the raise your hand feature and then just take those in order. So, all right. Thanks, everyone. We're going to start over here at the left side of the room. And Tori, go ahead.
Tori Tyler with the Bureau of Reclamation out of Klamath Falls. For those who know me, supervisory fish biologist, and I'm going to pass time to others. We have our own ongoing biological opinion science type things, but it's nothing near what you guys are working on.
Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Sasha Hallett. I'm a researcher at Oregon State University. Do a lot of work with fish health side of things, fish disease and monitoring. So I do water sampling for the infectious stages for fish, as well as sentinel fish exposures and annelid sampling to better understand disease dynamics in the Klamath and to inform management decisions and modeling and whatnot.
Good afternoon, I'm Tyler Dearman, Oregon DEQ. I guess from our side, major updates, the interim measure 11 funding that was put together through Pacific Corps, we're moving forward with that with OWEB's help as our fiscal agent. Expecting that RFP to be released for pre-proposals in early July. So that should be coming up, and that's a good chunk of money for restoration projects in the upper basin. So looking forward to that and seeing what impacts we can make with that funding. Other than that, setting out a bunch of temperature sensors this week for status and trend study in the upper Klamath and Lost River subbasins. So that's all I got.
Carissa Willits, also with Oregon DEQ.
Hi, I'm Jose Alvarola, field tech at the Shasta Valley RCD here in Wairika.
Hi, Taylor Daly from the Arcata U.S. Fish and Wildlife Service office. I work on our annelid monitoring project. You probably got updates on it from Julie Alexander and maybe like saw him yesterday. We're planning on doing our previous annelid monitoring this summer, and then continuing to expand above where Iron Gate Dam was, or soon to be was, into next year. And I think maybe Steve's on for any updates.
Hi, I'm Sharna Gilmore from the Scott River Watershed Council, and my 2-minute update would be we're in the process of implementing a project called the Sugar Creek Refugia. It's in the tailings. It's an implementation targeted for coho recovery. We do a lot of monitoring. We do monitoring with the Quartz Valley Indian Reservation, and our fishery will start here in the next month. And first of the year spot today. A lot of meadow work in our upper watershed to try to reverse some of the impacts by cattle and some stuff in the lowlands, trying to work with some of the ranchers to identify places along the main stem that we can think about setting back levees and doing some geomorphic work on there to try to enhance groundwater charge things. Lots.
Hi, I'm Art with the Klamath Tribes. I'm a fish biologist there, and yeah, we're primarily focusing on sucker rearing and bull trout work. And soon- and,
aquatic ecosystems. There's a couple of that are relevant to this. Working with the Klamath Tribes on updating the long-term hydrologic and nutrient balances for Upper Klamath Lake. So the previous effort through 2018, so we've now got another 6 years of that. And part of that will be developing a data automation process. We don't have to wait for 5 years, collect data, do these updates, do that basically on an annual basis and have a dashboard associated with that with data visualization so that we can over time. And those, of course, are quite important in understanding not only the dynamics in Upper Klamath Lake, but what enters the Klamath River and how the lake is responding to any of the restoration in the basin. Similar project on the river. We have a long-term monitoring program there, not quite as long as the lake. Goes back to 2002, and we're doing the same thing there, updating that. Again, this will help us track restoration for water quality. And also, we just got word that we've received funding to work on a analysis of temperature database, temperature analysis that Eli and I worked previously, the Klamath Tribes long-term monitoring network of thermographs. And this project will be specifically for assessing the effects of the Boot Lake fire, and also to, if it's available, to utilize the natural flow study results and do some temperature work based on those results. And I'll be working with Eli Sarian on that.
Excuse me. Sarah with Sciences in Eureka. A few of the projects are, I've did a project last year for the Klamath Tribal Water Quality Consortium that I presented at KBMP using remote sensing to look at evapotranspiration on agricultural fields in the Scott. So we're on trying to write for a publication, going slower than I was hoping. I'm likely to be doing it with USGS and Bureau of Reclamation to update the RBM10 water model that simulates temperatures on the Klamath and the Trinity. So we'll be doing things like a dam out option now that the dams are out. It makes sense to have that model go up to Link Dam. And then I have a proposal in with the Karuk tribe and NASA to hydrologic effects of wildfires, and probably some other stuff I'm forgetting, but I'll pass it off for now.
Hi, Danielle Herf, Bureau of Reclamation. Hi, I'm Charlie Sharp. I work with Ryan Bart here. I'm the aquaculturist for the Klamath Tribes Ampadat Department. Yeah, we are raising the Chawam and Koptu, or the river and short-nosed suckers, which are endangered, really significant. We have 6 ponds right now. We're on a few more, and yeah, we have a connection with rearing larval drift from hopefully the short-nosed suckers, the Koptu, and then we have connection with the east side springs, the Chawam population, and we incubate. All right.
Schaefer, Indian Reservation of continuing our projects, our monitoring projects that we are usually doing, gearing up for field season, grazing monitoring, temperature, grab samples, you name it. And algae, we're partnering with UNR to do some algae work. We're partnering with the Watershed Council to do a lot of cool stuff. We have funding to put in some gauges, thanks to the Watershed Council too, another collaborative project on the Scott River to help with the hydrologic modeling. And a cool thing that's happening with the tribe that we're real excited about is that On June 5th, we will hold a hearing to finalize our water quality standards for the tribe.
I'm David Webb, Friends of the Shasta River, small group of environmentalists who formed in recognition of the fact that too much deference and too much consideration was being given to people whose main goal was to benefit from resource extraction and water diversion to the detriment of the natural environment. And the fact that there was so little of that meant that the center of balance, if you will, was way off to one side. So we were trying to bring the balance closer to the middle. We've been focusing a lot on keeping truth and honesty in the process. We recently sued NOAA Fisheries over what we perceive as their misuse of the Safe Harbor program. We initially have prevailed in court, although that process is far from over. And we are engaged in commenting on things ranging from groundwater management through SGMA to right petition waivers under the TMDL and anything else that comes up where the world needs somebody to weigh in and be willing to litigate.
Great. Joanna Blash, Reno. We're thrilled to be working with Sarah this summer to do some spatial sampling of the benthic cyanotoxins.
Hi, I'm Laurel Genzoli. I'm just finishing up a PhD right now at the University of Montana, working all on Klamath-related work. And then I have some other projects as well that I'm working on with the tribes here in the basin. There'll be a short memo out for that 2023 data from Quartz Valley Indian Reservation that I presented. We put again, a short memo out for the 2022 data that you can get through Sarah. There's going to be a publication for the 2021 study on the Klamath for the cyanobacteria work that was done with the Karuk tribe. And that's going to be out in September in Freshwater Science. And this summer, I'm going to be doing the 6th year of surveys on the main stem of the Klamath River, looking at the coverage of macrophytes and filamentous algae first year after dam removal. So that's really exciting to be able to continue doing those surveys. And then there's two other projects that were part of my dissertation that I'm wrapping up and hopefully getting ready to publish in the next few months, which include relating the filamentous algae and macrophytes to summertime metabolism in the Klamath River, and then also looking at the effects of nutrients on summertime rates of metabolism. So trying to actually do a retrospective study with some of that long-term data that the tribes have been collecting over many, many years. I think that is a wrap.
Hi, I'm Will Knuckles. I'm a master's student at Oregon State University, and I'm studying channel evolution in the former reservoirs.
Hi there, I'm Becca Wheaton. I am a first-year PhD student at Oregon State University, and I'm a social scientist, kind of doing more human dimensions work on perceptions of water quality and river restoration in post-dam Klamath. So where my team is working with farmers and ranchers from Upper and Lower Klamath Basin and conservation organizations, and I'm hoping to carve out a space for myself in the Lower Klamath, looking at coastal fisheries and impacts of salmon restoration on those commercial salmon fisheries. And one of our partners is the Yurok tribe, and so that tribal work is also happening this summer. So my team is going out there and we're going to co-develop some of those survey instruments to collect more of this qualitatively informed information. And so if any of you are interested about some of the arising themes, particularly from the groups that we do have preliminary data on around conservation organizations' perceptions, and farmers and ranchers' perceptions on water quality specifically, I'm happy to share some overarching themes that have come up from that.
Hi, I'm Izzy Tang. I'm a first-year master's student at Oregon State, and I'm looking at filamentous algae and macrophyte growth in the lower basin of the Klamath River. So for my project, my goal is to build a mechanistic model that simulates algae growth during dam removal and then just in general river conditions.
Hi, my name's Christine. I'm a PhD student at Oregon State University, and I am studying short-term dissolved oxygen changes downstream of the dam removal.
Yeah, hi everyone. Nick Caselli. I work as a project manager for the Yurok tribe. We have various projects throughout the basin, so I'll just briefly mention a couple that are more in the immediate area. Obviously, dam removal, we've been involved with revegetation, and in the future, we'll be involved in restoration of some of the tributaries that were mentioned in these talks. And a little also locally, we're working on a restoration project in the tributaries that were affected by the McKinney fire and the subsequent debris flows and flooding that caused a lot of damage within that within those subwatersheds.
Hi, I'm Kaya Ray. I'm a restoration geologist for the Yurok tribe, and I have done a thesis on the McKinley area at Visa Creek, which produced a mass basin event into the Klamath River in 2022. And now I'm just flying drones, taking pictures of the reservoirs now.
My name's Eli Scott. I'm the Scott and Shasta Watershed Steward for the North Coast Regional Water Quality Control Board. I have a couple things. One is not mine and a bunch of are mine, so I'm just going to go with mine first. We're in the middle of development of the next permit revision for the Scott and Shasta, specifically going from a waiver of waste discharge requirements, this is weird regulatory stuff, to actual waste discharge requirements. Not that the waiver is not actual waste discharge requirements, but it's a different framework. We're looking to get that adopted in October of 2025 by our board. So there will be a public comment period. So everyone's welcome to chime in on that. And we will take those and hopefully improve whatever draft we put out there with them. I'm also going to be doing another round of biostimulatory conditions monitoring in the Scott, probably starting in July, considering the flows right now and going through October. Quartz Valley Tribe is, as long as we can get the contract established, we're almost there. We'll be assisting us with that and also doing some sediment monitoring in the Scott as well if that contract goes through. We're really almost there, I guarantee. And then the Regional Water Board also just finished up public comment for our federal lands permit. And that's the other thing I was going to update on, and that covers timber harvesting, livestock grazing, vegetation management, road-related work, fire suppression and recovery, and recreation. And specifically is looking at a new regulatory approach to livestock grazing and sediment source treatment in federal lands. So that includes Forest Service, BLM, National Park Service lands. And so the public comment period closed on May 7th, and we're looking to get that adopted at the August 2024 board meeting. So in Eureka, so feel free to show up for that. And I think that's about all that I have.
Max Ramos with the Yurok tribe. I'm a restoration engineer. I've been providing project support throughout our mini projects in the Klamath Basin. Some of the bigger ones that are popping out at me right now. I was the technical field lead on a pretty big project on the Trinity last summer that was, in my mind, very successful, the Oregon Gulch Channel Rehabilitation Project. Things are looking really good for that project and what we're seeing right post implementation. And then this year, I'll be helping out on the Upper Connor Creek restoration project on the Trinity. What else do I have? We just finalized design for some tributary work in Weaver Creek in the town of Weaverville. Another coho stronghold, and well, used to be a coho stronghold, and we're looking to do some channel rehab work in there. And I see DJ's on Zoom, so I'm sure he's got quite a bit more to add to that.
Hey everybody, Tommy Cianciolo with Trout Unlimited. I'm our water quality project coordinator. I'll let Charlie give our update.
Hi everyone, Charlie Erdman, Trout Unlimited. I'm a restoration project coordinator based out of our Klamath Falls office. Nell is on vacation, so I'll provide a brief update. We have, as usual, a lot of really exciting stuff going on right now. First and foremost, our colleague Evan out of our Klamath Falls office has started with his contractors started installing fencing around the J.C. Boyle Reservoir footprint. So that's been a huge effort and undertaking by Evan and a lot of other folks. So that's great to see. We also have some large efforts. The Nell's been involved, the Big Swing effort. It's a Sprague River watershed-wide restoration effort that's really just getting started. That's, of course, in collaboration with a number of partners from the Upper Basin, as well as folks from the agricultural community. We're involved in a bull trout reintroduction effort that is also just getting off the ground and running. That's with Crater Lake National Park, the Fish and Wildlife Service, and the Klamath Tribes. And then we have a number of projects that are ongoing, fish passage, fish screening projects, and some low-tech process-based restoration work. And Tommy will present on some of that work here in a few minutes.
I'm Lily Lowry with the Courts Valley Indian Reservation. I'm in field tech.
Hello, my name is Aiden Fernandez, and I'm a fishery tech for Courts Valley.
Thaddeus Super, Courts Valley employee member.
All right, and this is Randy Turner with the Klamath Basin Monitoring Program. Mentioned earlier, we are working on our monitoring location metadata request, so expect to hear from me in the next week or so for that. We are also trying to add more data and references and links to where data is in public databases or on agency websites. So, I have some plans for that, but if you have any data sets or reports you want to send me, we can definitely post that. I'd always appreciate that. And more importantly, we are in the process of starting to try to find some funding to continue the program. We may have been referred yesterday to as the backbone of a lot of the efforts going on here, but we are going to run out of money at the end of October. We're developing a scope of work for what kind of tasks to try to pursue in the coming years. And if there are any ideas that folks have, now is the time to talk to me about that. So if there's ways we can help you advance your programs, or help in any other ways, just let us know. Thanks.
Hi, I'm Josh Cahill. I'm the water program manager for the Yurok Tribe Environmental Department. I've got Rafael Cedillo here with me. He's our water quality specialist, Julian Palmisano, and Alex Wilder from our office. We maintain a network of continuous data sonde stations on the main stem Klamath, the lower 44 miles, and some of the tributaries. We do discrete water quality samples. We look at HABs. We have projects with in wetlands, fire ecology, and water quantity in relation to fire ecology, and probably a bunch of other projects that I'm spacing at the moment.
Hi, everybody. I'm Jenny Curtis with the USGS. I'm based out of the Eureka office, and I'm one of the principal investigators on our dam removal studies. Liam Shank is our program manager for that work. We've got a great website that basically explains what we're up to related to dam removal science, looking at changes in sediment flux, looking at using UAS to look at river response at 11 reaches distributed downstream from the dams, and using biogeochemical tracers to distinguish background sediment from dam removal or dam-related sediment. We've got two other projects in the basin that I'm involved with, lots of other USGS folks involved in other stuff. Got one new project with the Karuk tribe looking at sandbar willow habitat and how fire dam removal has affected that. That's going to be kicking off this fiscal year. And then we have an ongoing project in the lower basin with the Yurok, which is looking at how cultural fire influences soil moisture. So we're doing soil moisture monitoring and the effects of cultural burns on soil moisture. And then the last thing I'll say is Josh Cahill, Lauren Gianzoli, and Grant Johnson and I all co-authored a paper. It's in review currently at Nature, and it's telling the story of the water quality impacts of the McKinney fire in 2022.
Hi, everyone. Caitlin Boyce with Res. I work on water quality for Res, and I don't really have too many updates other than compliance monitoring for the project is ongoing with the UROC and Karuk and USGS. Our fisheries folks are out doing some of their highly specific targeted monitoring for tributary main stem connectivity, juvenile salmonid monitoring, that kind of thing. But I think we're going to get a project update a little later this afternoon, so should get a lot of information there.
Good day, everyone. My name is Julian Palmisano. I'm a core member with the Watershed Stewards Program, serving in the Environmental Department of the Yurok Tribe in their water division. Josh Cahill is our mentor. He gave the updates.
Hello, Rafael Cedillo here, water quality specialist under supervision of Josh Cahill, and he gave all the updates. Here's
Alex Wilder, also Watershed Stewards Program core member with the Yurok Tribe. And that's Al.
Hi, Crystal Robinson. I'm Klamath Watershed Program Supervisor for California Department of Fish and Wildlife. I have a list of things here. So this year, we're going to continue Scott and Shasta out migrant trapping. We're planning for the migrant and adult work in the dam removal reach tributaries. We have out migrant juvenile traps planned, as well as snorkel surveys, video weirs for adults. There's also water quality that we're going to be monitoring on tribs, flow, temperature, and dissolved oxygen. We have continuous probes for the temp and the DO. Drought-related activities on Scott and Shasta include monitoring local cooperative solutions with landowners to meeting flows for fish per the emergency drought regulation, as well as snorkel surveys at base flow on both Scott and Shasta. And then also CDFW funded $20 million to the Scott and Shasta for water quality and fisheries restoration and monitoring this year. And so then we have staff working on those projects. And if you're interested in seeing the details on those projects, they're all listed on our website.
Hi, this is Mike Belchick with the Yurok Tribe, working on a couple of things. There is going to be a new proposed action for the management of the Klamath River that will include a much different way of managing water. We're also preparing for the reconnection of Agency Barnes Ranch, which is a 14,000 acre restoration project. Other things that we're involved in are beginning work on the tailings reach project in the Scott River. We're working with landowners to address their concerns, as well as with Farmers Ditch and Cal Trout and the Karuk Tribe, major partners on that. We're getting ready to do a partnership project with the Karuk Tribe at Little Springs and Big Springs Complex on the Shasta River, as well as talking with some other landowners on the Shasta right now to get some things going. So there's a lot. And then, one more thing is there's a lot of groups visiting the Klamath Dam Removal Project from around the world, a lot of indigenous groups. It's been very inspirational to a lot of groups, eyes on us from all around the world. So it's really heartening to see that. So that's about it.
I missed my update earlier. I'm Lara Cressy. I'm the co-director of the Salmon River Restoration Council and also the co-chair of KBMP. And just a couple quick things. Let's see, this summer, SRRC is going to be implementing phase 2 of our largest floodplain restoration project to date on the Salmon River, our Red Bank Fisheries and Riparian Habitat Enhancement Project. Phase 1, we've been monitoring this winter and it's been looking great. Lots of good new off-channel habitat and fish are using it, and it's really exciting to see. And let's see, also coming up this year, we've been doing a bunch of spring Chinook juvenile monitoring on the salmon and doing genetic analysis to see, well, Chinook juvenile monitoring, and then doing genetic analysis to determine how many of our Chinook are actually spring Chinook versus fall Chinook, and where they are, where they are on the river. And the initial results are really interesting. We do still have spring Chinook. We have wild spring Chinook, not nearly as many as we might wish we did. There's a lot of overlap, a lot of fall Chinook pretty high up in the system, especially on the South Fork. But that's really interesting research. Our former fisheries program manager, Amy Fingerly, is getting her PhD at UC Berkeley, and she's doing that project. She's leading that project. And then anyone interested in the Salmon River Spring Chinook dives, they're scheduled for July 24th this year, and the announcement will be going out in the next couple weeks. So moving on to online. Steve, how about if you unmute yourself and give us an update?
Yeah, hello. This is Steve Goff from the U.S. Fish and Wildlife Service in Arcata, and we do a number of long-term monitoring on the main stem with juvenile and adult Chinook salmon with our tribal partners, the Karuk tribe and Yurok tribe. I guess mentioning some new work coming up. Plans are in development, and we're ironing out funding for adult monitoring, abundance distribution, and age composition above the Iron Gate Dam site starting this fall. And I guess relaying a message from another biologist in the office that we just finalized a plan to update flow habitat relationships in the Klamath for juvenile salmon. Other projects going on. Taylor Daly from our office is in attendance in person there, and she brought up the Annelid project, and she's welcome to add anything that I may have missed or that she'd like to add to that.
All right, I'm going to repeat it, Steve, because it was hard to hear you.
Okay.
So we're updating our flow habitat relationships in the Klamath for juvenile salmon. We have an ongoing juvenile outmigrant project with our tribal partners. There's a water temperature monitoring program also with our tribal partners. We have the spawning survey that Steve was mentioning. Yeah, we have a lot of projects going on. Did I miss anything there, Steve?
I think that's it.
All right.
Sounds like my mic is a little spotty also.
It was actually our internet connection. We had a little bit of instability in the connection. It seems like we're okay now.
I see.
Dan, I think you're next. You want to unmute yourself and give us an update?
Yes, good afternoon, everybody. Hoping you can hear me loud and clear. Yeah, Dan Troxel, California Department of Fish and Wildlife, Klamath and Trinity Rivers program out here on the coast. In short, just a reminder, I'm sure everyone's aware, but we're looking at the second year of a statewide commercial and recreational fall Chinook salmon closure, as well as the Fish and Game Commission adopted an emergency closure on that little kind of late spring, summer Chinook fishery that we also usually execute. So another year where things aren't necessarily business as usual, but our usual fall work will go off without a hitch. We'll be, conducting our cooperative spawning ground surveys throughout the mid-Klamath. Those of you that are involved in that, I'll certainly be reaching out to you in the next month or two to kind of start scheduling our preseason meeting. In terms of fish health stuff, myself and Josh Cahill co-coordinate the Klamath Fish Health Assessment Team. Our season has already kicked off there. A few meetings under our belt thus far. Nice to report that things have remained favorable, but certainly amidst this unprecedented time, we'll be keeping a real close eye on things as the season progresses. But Yeah, I think that about covers it. So hey, thanks all. Glad to be here once again. Cheers.
Thanks, Dan. How about you, Rick? You want to unmute yourself? You're still muted, Rick. Okay, passing over Rick, unless he unmutes himself.
All
there
right,
he goes.
sorry about that. I was talking to myself.
There you go. Start over.
Okay. Yeah, this is Rick Carlson. I'm the water quality lead with the Bureau of Reclamation up here in Klamath Falls. I'm not going to go through everything I went through at the fall meeting, but we fund the USGS to do a variety of monitoring up here in the watershed, including the Upper Klamath Lake tributaries, Upper Klamath Lake, and the Keno Reach, as well as the Lost River. I did want to put a plug out for the modeling work we have ongoing right now, which is focused on the Keno Reach and the Lost River area. That's being completed by the USGS as well as Watercourse Engineering. And they have a dedicated website for that work. And if you just Google Keno Reach, you can see all the information that they got on that, which includes a whole slew of reports that they've put out over the last almost 20 years now. That's pretty much what I wanted to cover.
Thanks, Rick. John, do you want to unmute yourself and give us an update?
Thanks. My name is John R. Oberholzer Dent. I'm a water quality biologist for the Kuduk tribe. As usual, we got a lot going on. But one thing I'd like to mention is our work on nutrients right now. We're doing some work on modeling the nutrient concentrations in small tributaries. And so if you or your program have any data from small creeks anywhere below Iron Gate, it would be real helpful. I've already gone through CEDN, so if it's in CEDN, we're good. But if anybody else knows of anything, please do get in touch.